Welcome to the Alternatives Public Workshop for the Central Florida Expressway Authority, State Road 408 Expressway Eastern Extension Project Development and Environment PD&D Study. CFX is evaluating the potential to provide an extension of State Road 408 from its current eastern terminus along State Road 50 eastward to State Road 520. This new 7-mile extension of State Road 408 would be the first component towards providing a west-east high-speed corridor with eventual connectivity to I-95, enhancing mobility for the region and CFX's customers. This study is currently in the second phase of the project development process, which is known as the Project Development and Environment, or PD&D phase. The PD&D phase generally involves three components: developing and evaluating engineering alternatives, determining the impacts those alternatives will have on the social, natural, physical, and cultural environments, and obtaining public input and consensus. The PD&D study entails the preparation of all preliminary engineering and environmental documentation, including a State Environmental Impact Report, SEIR, and all additional environmental documents. There are four principal needs that serve as the main project justification and include: provide additional regional mobility in the west-east direction in northeastern Orange County, provide additional emergency evacuation service to supplement the limited capacity of the existing evacuation routes, provide improved transportation connectivity and linkage that is induced by the continued population growth in the area, and provide transit support. As part of this PD&D study, we have already validated the results from the previous feasibility study, determined the future traffic demand in the year 2045, and developed feasible alternatives for a tolled limited access facility along the State Road 50 corridor. The purpose of this meeting is to obtain public input and comments on the alternatives that have been developed. These alternatives are on display here tonight. The study team will take all comments into consideration, determine the environmental and community impacts associated with each alternative, and document the finding. The main goal of the study is to reach consensus on the location and design of the potential State Road 408 Eastern Extension. The results of the Corridor Development and Evaluation Study Report that was prepared in 2008 indicated that Corridor 3B along State Road 50 is the most feasible location for the future eastern extension of State Road 408. Governor Rick Scott signed Executive Order 13319 on November 1, 2013, creating the East Central Florida Corridor Task Force with the purpose to evaluate and develop consensus recommendations on future transportation corridors serving established and emerging economic activity centers in portions of Brevard, Orange, and Osceola counties. The task force recommends 9 corridor alternatives for further study, including Corridor B and Corridor C. These detail the need to preserve and enhance the existing State Road 50 and State Road 520 corridors, respectively. As part of this study, CFX has finalized an update to the Corridor Development and Evaluation Study Report that was prepared in 2008. The results of the study confirmed that the most feasible location for the future eastern extension of State Road 408 is along the existing State Road 50 corridor. The use of a majority of the existing State Road 50 facilities right-of-way makes the proposed improvements along the existing State Road 50 corridor, Corridor 3B, the most reasonable choice. Prior to the generation of alternatives, the project was broken down into distinct segments having similar characteristics. This approach ensures that each alternative is more responsive to the needs of each segment rather than generalized project needs. Segment 1 is from the existing State Road 408 State Road 50 interchange to Avalon Park Boulevard. In general terms, Segment 1 is more urban in nature and exhibits a higher traffic demand than the rest of the corridor. Segment 2 is from Avalon Park Boulevard to Chuliota Road. In general terms, Segment 2 serves a lower density area than Segment 1 and features sensitive wetlands and habitat, a curved alignment, and a crossing of the Econlockhatchee River. Segment 3 is from Chuliota Road to State Road 520. In general terms, Segment 3 is more rural in nature with a lower traffic demand. 14 different typical section alternatives were generated, which included both at-grade and elevated options located both just to the north, just to the south, and in the center of State Road 50. Several interchange configurations were developed at the State Road 50 and State Road 408 interchange, as well as at the Avalon Park Boulevard, Chuliota Road, and State Road 520 intersections to provide access between State Road 50 and the State Road 408 extension. Detailed comparative evaluation matrices were utilized for each of the three segments, taking into account different evaluation parameters, including engineering, socioeconomic, environmental, and cost factors. Within Segment 1, the preliminary alternative evaluation determined that 5 typical section options are the most feasible and will be evaluated further, including at grade in the center of State Road 50, elevated in the center of State Road 50, elevated just to the north of State Road 50, elevated just to the south of State Road 50, and elevated with the eastbound direction just to the south of State Road 50, and the westbound direction just to the north of State Road 50. All of these alternatives have been conceptually developed and are on display here tonight for your comment. Within Segment 2, the preliminary alternative evaluation determined that 4 typical section options are the most feasible and will be evaluated further, including at grade in the center of State Road 50, elevated in the center of State Road 50, elevated just to the north of State Road 50, and elevated just to the south of State Road 50. All of these alternatives have been conceptually developed and are on display here tonight for your comment. Within Segment 3, the preliminary alternative evaluation determined that 2 typical section options are the most feasible and will be evaluated further, including at grade in the center of State Road 50 and elevated in the center of State Road 50. All of these alternatives have been conceptually developed and are on display here tonight for your comment. All of the alternatives determined to be most feasible will be evaluated in terms of their impacts to the social, natural, physical, and cultural environments. The findings of these studies will be documented in the State Environmental Impact Report and all additional environmental documents. In 1989, the Florida Department of Transportation completed a PD&D study for the widening of State Road 50 and is currently in the process of implementing a series of construction projects to expand the State Road 50 corridor from 4 to 6 lanes from State Road 436 to State Road 520, utilizing an urban typical section with curb and gutter sections and a raised 32-foot median within the existing 200-foot right-of-way. CFX has been and will continue to coordinate with FDOT to minimize duplication of efforts and maximize efficiencies between all future planned projects. The next steps involve obtaining community feedback on all preliminary alternatives and the selection of the preferred alternative. The next Project Advisory Group and Environmental Advisory Group meetings are scheduled for July of 2016. Once all draft documents have been completed, they will be placed on public display, and the final study public hearing is currently scheduled for August 2016. Thank you for attending tonight's Alternative Public Workshop. The presentation has concluded. You may now proceed to viewing all of the current project information. Project team members and CFX staff are available to answer questions and record comments. For more information on the study, you can contact Valerie Tudor, Public Information Office, or you may also visit our study website at www.cfxway.com. Thank you.